Good.
Okay.
Okay, and we are live. Hello, everybody. My name is Erin Kahn with Erin Kahn Consulting. I am really excited to have the guest lineup that we have here today on my construction technology webinar series, which aims to bring technology to the forefront of the construction industry and kind of connect builders with some really cool tools out there that might help them with some stuff. So without further ado, I will turn it over to the team with LCMD and then the rest of the team to kind of give some self intros. So let's first start with, I'll just go around my screen with Neil. So tell us a little bit about yourself and take it
Yeah,
away.
sure. Thanks. Hello everybody. My name is Niels. I am a civil engineer and work as a project manager and lean consultant for almost 10 years now. And from Germany, you may hear it from my accent. I hope that's no problem for today. I hope you understand everything well. But I focus on commercial projects like 50 million plus to 500 million, 1 billion from this area size. And in my career, I had I would say almost 50 different projects, some deeper, some less deep, but I have a lot of things to share about that today when it comes to change something in a project that is complex. And thank you.
Yes, thanks, Niels. Yeah, we've all been through changes on projects before, I think. Looking forward to seeing more of the content later. Let's go next to Robin. So, Robin, give us a quick intro and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Erin. Hi, hello together. I'm really excited for today's webinar. My name is Robin Schönbach. I'm working also as a project leader and BIM consultant for Kaulquappe. Kaulquappe is actually tadpole in English, so the little small babies before they get a frog. And maybe this is also some association for the digital transformation in the AEC sector. I'm from my background a civil engineer, focusing on infrastructure projects, and working for around about 4.5 years for Kaulquappe now in the Berlin office. Kaulquappe is actually a Swiss company. We are doing BIM management, BIM consultancy, BIM coordination, also developing like a platform, which will be also a small part in today's webinar. Thank you.
Alrighty. Excellent. Thanks for that, Robin. And last but certainly not least, Dirk, let us know a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dirk Holzmann. I'm placed here in Stuttgart. I'm working for Dresden Sommer since 8 years now. I'm an architect, but now I'm in the project management. My profession is the BIM management, but also BIM coordination. I did a lot of 3D modeling in the past as an architect, and then I did coordination, but now I'm responsible for the BIM management part, and I'm talking to the clients what kind of BIM strategy we can do to implement this methodology into their projects. And I'm mainly responsible for the connection BIM and Lean. This is the reason why I'm here at this webinar today. But I'm also responsible, for example, for the BIM education at client side, for example.
Excellent. Yes, BIM and Lean. And for our audience that's joining, I've seen a little bit of the content, a sneak peek. It's really exciting. So you're going to want to hang on and tune in for what's coming up. And then another reminder. So thank you, everybody, for joining. You can absolutely use that comment or chat box, whatever platform you're on, to ask questions, to share some thoughts that you have about the content. So this is an absolute expert lineup. Do feel free to, take use of the time, ask your questions to this group. We want it to be valuable for you as well with kind of getting those questions answered. So now that those reminders are out of the way, I'll now ask Dirk. I know you have some content to share about BIM and Lean, as you mentioned, and the topic of today is data-driven synergies between BIM and Lean. Take it away and let us know what you have to share on that topic.
Okay. Thanks for your introduction, Erin. So I hope you can see my screen now. Exactly. So I already introduced myself, so I will come directly to the content here. At the first slide, what you can see here is at the left-hand side, you can see some bullet points which are remarkable for the BIM method, and at the right-hand side, you can see some bullet points for the Lean method. I think most of you should be familiar with both methodologies. But what both have in common is the combination of BIM and Lean wants to reduce the risks and all your redundancies to a minimum. It cannot avoid everything, but it can reduce it to a minimum. And so at the next slide, I think the situation where we're now confronted with is that anybody wants to have a change. So anybody wants changes and innovations and stuff like that. But if you are asking who wants to change himself or herself, most of them don't want to rethink their own projects and their own processes. And this is really necessary to optimize the processes in the combination of BIM and Lean, especially. And so I come directly to the added values of the combination of BIM and Lean. And one of them, for example, is the visualization of complexity and spatial dependencies. I think this is really important for the parties at the construction site, for example, that they understand which activity comes next and how is the dependency between both activities. And what is also possible is a weekly preview. So if the parties or your client is asking what comes next, you can visualize this with the informations of the Lean process, but also with the informations which you already have from the BIM model. And so it's also possible to have a model-based target performance comparison. So you have your timeline or your schedule, and you can compare it to construction site, what is already built or what is not built. And so as another result of this combination, you can have a model-based procedural progress control. And I think this is a really important point because it's not only in the preparing phase, you can say it's already 60% finished because you know all the activities which are necessary to complete this building element part. But this is not as detailed enough to have a detailed information about the process itself. And with this combination, BIM and Lean, it's possible to do a procedural progress control. So, but two things are really important to combine both, so BIM and Lean. So, at the one hand, you have a separate, or you need a separate tech zone model because you want to have it for an allocation of your building element parts. So, you want to know which building element part belongs to which tech zone or to which Lean part, and this is possible if you have such a separate tech zone model. And at the other hand, of course, you also need the digitized Lean planning. So this is the reason why LCM Digital is also part of the whole process, because we need a digital Lean process. It's not enough to have only some Excel sheets or something like that. We also need it in our model, or we also need it afterwards in our dashboards. I will come to this later.
So, quick
Yeah.
question, Dirk, before you move on. If you just go back one slide, could
Yeah.
you define the TACT model just a little bit more? TACT zone model?
So it's some volumes which are standing for the tech zones which are already described or defined from Lean planning. So from the Lean management, they have already defined, sorry, which activities taking part in which area. So, and if you have, for example, the elevators or something like that, so you have a vertical tech zone or a vertical volume, which maybe comes, you don't have only one of these elevators, you have more of them, or you have an office zone, and it doesn't matter how big the different zones are. the activities which you need to fulfill these areas are always the same. And so we are talking about tech
Okay.
zones, and this is only a volume which is or which can be, let's say, an sorry, I'm missing the word, a section box. So it's a volume box which has an interactive section box, and this section box knows afterwards, with a combination of the model and this tech zone model, which building parts belong to which section box. And if the tech zone is getting bigger or smaller, you only have to adapt these volumes and not the whole model. And this is a big advantage of
Got
this.
it. Yeah, that it's distinguishing, like, you just need to, you can work with just that space instead of the whole
Exactly.
thing. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
fantastic. All right, yeah, continue on. Thank you for that.
So, like I said, at the one hand, at the left-hand side, we have the BIM method with all its contents, and at the right-hand side, we have the Lean method with the whole process planning and stuff like that in a digital way, like I already said. And in the middle of it, we have this tool which is called BIG. BIG is an abbreviation, sorry, for Building Information Grid from Kaulquappe. Robin will also explain this afterwards. And here in the middle, it comes together. So we have the information from the BIM method, but we also have the information from the Lean method, which will fit together. And the result of it is then at the end an smart digital dashboard. So you don't need other software. You have a cloud-based result where everybody has an account and can log in, and you can see all your information about the BIM stuff, but you also have your information about the Lean stuff. And here now it's possible to do some individual views, and you can, for example, see which activities are necessary in the next 4 weeks, for example. So I will explain this at this example. So this is an office building from us where we started with a combination BIM and Lean. So this is also a little bit of an historical insight from now this example to the project Daichi, which Robin will present afterwards. So in this project, it's about more or less 7,500 square meter. It's an office building, like I already explained, and we have different disciplines integrated here in this model. And like you can see, it's a normal BIM project, so it's nothing special. And what was special in this case was that we already had a digital Ken board. So at construction site, the whole approval process at the one hand was in this containers here on construction site, but we also put this approval process into LCM Digital. So it was already done in a digital way. But the main difference, I will explain this afterwards, to the project Robin will present, was that we have to do an export to a CSV file. So we couldn't connect both together at this moment. Now it's possible in a more comfortable way. And what was necessary, like I already explained, are different lean models. So in this case, at this project, we have 3 different kind of lean models. So at the one hand, we had a model for the shell. At the other hand, we have a model for the interior design. And the third lean model was about the facade, and everything which was already implemented in the lean process could now also be integrated into this combination of BIM and Lean in a model-based way. And what we have done was to put all of these 3 things into a mixer. Let's explain it like that. So we have the BIM model, we have the Lean models, and we have all the information of the LCM Digital platform. And we put it together, and then the result, like I already explained, was this dashboard. And the process before, like I already explained, was at the left-hand side, you can see the IFC model, so your whole BIM project. Then we had to export our processes from Lean side by a CSV export. We put this together in BIC from Kaulquappe, and then we could update everything. This was around about 3 or 4 years ago. Now we are more user friendly, let's say it like that. And Robin will show how it works now.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you, Dirk, for the introduction and different insights to our first use case integration. And I will now show, like in a little hands-on session, how we improved this use case, bringing Lean and BIC together in the past years, past months. And for this, I just will quickly share my screen for a few minutes. I hope you guys can see my screen now. So this is actually, or the whole platform integration is completely cloud-based. And after you logged in, you have like a direct specific project overviews to, for example, here in this example for Daiichi Sankyo, which the company allowed us to use this as an example for today's webinar. And I will present you just quickly as a basis or project basis from this pharma company with different large scale projects where we just implemented this approach or this use case, bringing BIM and Lean together. And for example, when we select the first project called BioDS building, which is like a really big, like a medicine production fabric. On the next slide, we have like, for example, for optimal project management, or even for the project team, individual dashboards which can be integrated directly into the CDE platform. So BIC, for example, is also like a common data environment or part of a common data environment, and where every user, and for example, in this case, the client, and of course, like the construction companies, integrated special dashboards to visualize, for example, lean construction data out of LCMD, the another platform, to analyze and give a deeper insight into the current process out of the tech planning, for example, from the construction side. And for example, on the right-hand side, you can also integrate like a live view from the webcam from the construction side. Of course, in this project, all process and schedule data is analyzed and visualized directly from the construction side in like the dashboard based on the whole data of LCMD in a very transparent and efficient manner, I would say. And the live data from the construction side is sent directly to the CDE platform via the LCMD app, and consequently to a higher level, for example, to do like project control via the platform. And maybe to just focus on the first objective, this implementation guarantees a bit of visibility into all important project information, and of course into detailed processes and topics, especially with regard to costs and of course to the time. And when I just start sharing another screen, when we just switch into the model, you see it now. We did like a direct integration from both tools. So on the right-hand side, we have like the model viewer from BIC, from the BIC CDE. And on the left-hand side, we have the direct iframe integration from LCMD, where you can see the nice process and tech planning, for example, for all different processes. So here it's very, very detailed, but which allows us and of course the client to do a really good, not just visualization, analysis, also a good progress tracking over the whole construction phase for each activity, and of course for each trade, for the MEP, for the for other different technical constructors. And yes, the very important thing, or which is also a really added value to this use case is that we have like a link between the tech planning from LCMD, which you can see on the left hand side, to the model from BIC on the right hand side. So you can see right now the visualization of the different rates with a combination or combined color to the process and tech planning from the LCMD platform. And of course, in addition to the process and tech planning information, which we get from for example, the construction side from LCMD, we can write all the information into the IFC models, or for example, of course, for the Revit models, and integrate this data directly into the BIM models. So when I just click on that kind of facade and scroll down, we have all the important information right from LCMD, right from the construction side, focusing on the different schedule information in the IFC model in this case. And of course, we can also export the new IFC files out of the platform with a new property set focusing on the lean construction management things out of the app we just got from the construction side.
Robin, one quick thing. I see this is fantastic. In the chat, we had some reactions, some clapping emojis and heart emojis, I think, as you were kind of going through some of this. So I can tell the audience really loves to see what's going on in here. So that's great. And then just a reminder for anyone who's new joining in at this point, please do feel free, use those, reactions, add comments and questions, because there's a lot of really good information here. So please use the time, let us know what's on your mind, or if there's anything interesting here that sparks your curiosity, let us know. So, all right, you can dive right back into it, Robin.
Yeah. Just maybe to summarize briefly, even with focusing on the goals which just Dirk presented. Of course, this combination is a real, or we get real added value by the visualization of the data in here. So from LCMD, from BIC, and of course focusing on the geometrical things, and this holistic approach bring BIM and Lean together. Promotes like a task-based cooperation throughout the whole construction process, and of course underlines like the transparency and the efficiency for every project stakeholder, and maybe also guarantee like a really good controllability at all times for clients, but of course for project controllers, for project managers. That's maybe just to summarize like the little insights of how we work with the two platforms, and and how we've integrated both platforms.
Okay, great. So this is maybe a good time. I was actually wondering this myself. So we have a question from Sven. How difficult is it to set up this combination to run? I was wondering this too as you were kind of going through it. So it looks amazing. If we could have it on every project, that'd be fantastic. But how hard is it actually to kind of connect it all and get it working?
Well, as maybe I will start quickly. As Dirk already said, so in the beginning, of course, there was a lot of effort we need to put into to set up this combination to run. But right now we have more and more different ways, also maybe intelligent ways, maybe soon also some KI-based ways, AI-based ways to bring the process from LCMD together with the BIM models. So of course, when LCMD or CalCup is doing it, we are pretty fast, and there is a need for some extra training. But we're working on it, and I can't tell you how many hours we need to build a combination, but we are getting better.
Just
Yeah.
in addition, so like I explained before, in the past it was that you had to export a CSV file from LCM Digital to integrate it into BIC from Kaulquappe. And now it's only about an open interface. You only need a token which has to be generated. And then you can put this token directly into BIC. And then it's directly connected big with LCM Digital, and this is a really advantage to the process that was before. And then you can decide how often you want to synchronize all your informations. Is it necessary to do it in real time? Is it enough to do it once per week or once monthly or something like that? And this is a really, really big added value, which now is existing. So our clients love the combination with this open interface. Yeah.
Right. So,
And maybe just to answer
yeah,
quickly the question from Albert. Thank you for this question.
yeah,
When we are working
perfect.
with a section model, like a geometrical section model, as Dirk presented in the beginning of the slides, we don't need to connect each task manually to the BIM model, because on the CDE platform BIG we work with geometrical relations, and when we add new tasks and have new information out of this process tasks from the tech planning, with the different information, for example, to the trade, we can automatically connect the task and the information to the BIM model. So we don't need to manually connect each task during like the construction process, or maybe even in the latest design project.
Okay, thanks for that. Niels, anything you want to add on either of those questions? So the setup and tasks kind of linking over to the BIM model?
I will pick up later in my content the
Perfect.
ask about the difficulty of this combination, not especially this combination, but setting up something like new innovation. So I will add something soon.
Okay, great. Well, we'll get to it soon. Robin, is there any other content that you wanted to pull up and share or talk about before we get into the next section of the discussion?
Oh, right now I think we can get on to
We're
the
good.
next section. Yeah.
Okay. So Niels, I know you have maybe some things to share.
Yes.
And then I know we still have some questions coming in. Don't worry, we will get to your questions, but do keep asking them. We love to see them and kind of drive the discussion collaboratively, so we're not just talking at you guys. Alrighty, there we go. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I will start with the same slide as Dirk showed before. Just because I said before, I have a lot of experience with changing something. I like this slide as well, but not because I think it's right, but because I think actually it's wrong. People, in my experience, are generally open to change. But the problem is they don't want to be changed if they don't see the value for them. So people need first see the value, because changing something usually means I have to learn something new. And learning something new usually means I have to make some extra effort. And extra effort is only reasonable if the value I get for it is higher than the effort I have to put in. So in my experience, that's basically the thing that has to be in mind. And if I ask people, do you want to change? Of course, they say first, no. Why should I? And the main challenge I see, or let's say, in other words, when I say if I see the value, I'm open to change. And the main challenge I see, especially with something like BIM and Lean, is that the time to value, so the time gap between the extra effort I have to put in and the value I receive, I gain, can be very long with BIM and Lean, because I have to put in a lot of structure in. I have to put in a lot of effort with my last planner workshops. I have to put in a lot of effort in the BIM modeling, etc. And the learning curve can also be very high. So it's quite hard to grasp or to understand that the value later on is way bigger than the effort I have to put in, from an individual point of view. And I think this is, in my opinion, or from my experience, the biggest challenge or even hindrance for implementing something like that. People are feared not of the change, but of the effort they have to put in without knowing if they really get this value from it. We just saw the value it delivers, and so it's proven Yeah. But of course, if I haven't felt it myself, it's pretty hard to really say, okay, it's worth putting in this extra effort for me as a, I don't know, designer, as a contractor, or whatever it is. And in a project, we usually all know the typical constraints. For example, from a project manager's perspective, constraints can be time, data, time, money, and quality. These things are manageable. It's not an easy task, but they are basically manageable. If I change something, I have to act different, because changing constraints are different to project constraints. I have somehow the data. These are constraints I have to somehow handle. But actually, if I talk to people saying data is important, for them it's pretty hard to grasp, why is data important for me as an individual? Why should I put in structured data? It's just extra effort, as I said before. Where's the value for me? And it's pretty hard to grasp, let's say it like that. On the other hand, the next one is the people. As I said with the first slide, we cannot change people. People act like the context they are in. The context shapes them. Let's say basically I behave different when I'm in the stadium cheering for my favorite team than when I'm in the office, or I'm in church, or whatever. And
Very true. Yeah.
so I'm the same person, but I behave different. So I behave based on the context the project delivers me. And I cannot say, please change now, because I live in a context. I'm somehow incentivized. I have a contract that says things. And if somebody tells me behave different, but my contract says otherwise, why should I change? So as an easy example. And the third constraint when it comes to change, from my experience, is the processes. Basically, processes can be this context where people act. And this is, in my experience, the only thing we can actually change, manageable. And the hardest part here is my favorite quote, we've always done it like that. Why should we change it? It works. What I recommend to overcome those constraints when implementing change is basically three things. The first one sounds maybe simple or even too logical, but it's not as logical as you may think. Try and find out. You have to try it, and you have to try it with small steps, because small steps means lower effort, and lower effort means shorter time to value usually. And I've been in, as I said before, in so many projects. And when I was young, I'm still young maybe, but when I was younger,
Yeah.
I often tried to make the whole lean approach, everything from start to end. And I had a lot of, it was very hard to put in. And there were many projects where I failed basically. And at one point I noticed, if I solve small problems first, without calling it even some methodology, then it's way easier to change people or to change the process, and then people start to behave different. And that's where I understood doing the small steps, and therefore making shorter time to value, making sure the time to value is shorter, helps people. The second one is go and see where people already know or experience the value. So take your project team, go for a visit to another project where they already made the experience, and where they can tell you about the obstacles, the errors, the learnings, and also, of course, the gained value. So people understand or get the same understanding of what good looks like. That helps very much. Maybe some of you listeners now understood also from Dirk and Robin what good can look like. But if you see it live, it's basically always better, of course. And it's a very, very useful manner to go and see there, go and see to see it live, how value is created. And the third thing, what I experience historically, I think technology and construction, they don't have the best relationship. I think we all know that. Other industries are way ahead of us when it comes to technology. But there are good solutions out there. You saw 2 today, and there are, of course, more. But there are really good solutions that really help you get on this journey and make it way easier for you than it was a few years ago. It shortens the learning curve, and there are proven solutions that help you going on this path. So I can promise, and you also just saw it from Dirk and Robin, it is worth the effort, even though, of course, you may haven't felt it yet. Maybe some of you have tried it. So maybe I ask to the participants, just give us your stories of how you tried something to change maybe and how you failed or succeeded. And what I experience is that in most projects where this is implemented, they come back and say, I don't want to work different anymore. So it's a high retention rate. Basically, people come back and want to use it again. So that, I think, is a good sign
Yeah.
for high value for the extra effort that has to be put in and
Yeah,
the
just
things that have to be done.
interjecting there, Niels, from my experience too with implementing all sorts of different tools, whenever we had someone from the field say, I absolutely, must have this solution on my next project. I won't build another project without it. That's when we knew like they had that really high value, worth the effort. They would kind of make sure the entire team also put in the effort to use the tool because the value was just so high. So that just really resonated with me as well. So I'm glad
Yeah,
you shared
that's the
those
best
three
sign, basically.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Any other slides? I didn't mean to cut you off
No,
there,
no,
but
it was
all
basically
good.
it was planned.
Okay, fantastic. That's actually, I think we're at a good point where we can bring up another question here from Prajat. So how does integrating lean principles with BIM help in proactively identifying and resolving schedule delays before they impact the project? It's a good question there. So feel free, anybody, to chime in who has some thoughts on that.
So I think this point is already mentioned if you are taking the BIM method. So it's easier to understand where are the dependencies between different parties or disciplines. So I explained it before, if you have let's say the result of the next discipline and you can see it in a model in a visualized way, it's easier to follow how the dependencies and the risks are for all these activities. And the point is, I totally agree what Niels said before, but because of more effort, I don't agree, because I think we already had in the past a lot of BIM projects which also were planned in a lean method, but they weren't connected together, so they haven't talked together, and so we had a lot of risks because some things have already been mentioned in the BIM model, and other things have been into the lean process, but you couldn't see the combination of it or the connections between both the activities and the construction itself. And so I think this also answers this question, because if you get both together and not only some simulations or a 4D simulation where you say you have your schedule and then you have your model, and your model or your project should be at some specific point at the schedule says. You have also the reality from construction side, and then you can also you can also react to it, or you can act before. So you have a kind of forecast in a model-based way.
Yeah, it's a
May I
deeper
add?
level of insight. Yeah, go ahead, Niels.
Yeah, sure. Dirk just said one of my, let's say, favorite words when it comes to construction projects: transparency.
Mm.
In my opinion, there or in my experience, let's say like that, in my experience, transparency is not very good in projects, actually. For many reasons, doesn't matter. But to this question, how does integrating Lean principles with BIM help? I think it increases transparency a lot because people are understanding way faster what's happening, and they can understand way better where can be delays in the future, or where have we maybe planned wrong, where is mistake in our planning, and we tried to build it like that, but we see in the model it doesn't even work like that. We have to think different, and that's basically how I would answer this. It increases transparency a lot, and transparency always helps to find solutions faster or even before they occur.
Yeah. And people start talking about things. So because we have the visualization, we have like the reliable data out of LCMD, for example, integrated in the BIM models. So we also get like, or coming from a static BIM model to a dynamic decision-making tool. And the people, for example, can talk about in like a lean meeting every second day or maybe every day in the morning for 15 minutes, using the visualization, using the tech planning, the process planning, talk about problems, go out on the construction site and solve the problems.
Yeah, Robin, that sparked a past experience. I think I had seen at one point one project team, the superintendents using the BIM model to explain site logistics and sequencing to the rest of the trades that need to accomplish it all. And it just helped the teams, extended into the field and all the way down to the last crew person who's going to actually be, whatever it is, swinging the hammer, installing the beam, whatever it is, understanding exactly what and why things are going on the way that they are. So, yeah.
This is also
Um,
added value
yeah,
for client side, because for them
exactly.
it's a lot easier to make decisions. So if they have a visualization of that, it's easier to say if they are seeing which kind of activities should be next, and they have to do or to take a decision. It's easier for them to decide. So
Absolutely. And we have another question here. So keep them coming in. We're in our last, maybe 15-ish or so minutes. So please ask so we can get to your questions or any comments or thoughts you want to share. But Sven here is asking, do you have some examples of projects where this combination has delivered a real impact that you can share?
So maybe I can just start because the last 2 days I was at a little BIM fair in Frankfurt, and we had the chance to talk to Wolfgang Bayer, which is like the construction or head of construction manager for Daiichi. He allowed us to show also the project and the integration. And then he did like a little comparison in his presentation today in the morning that with this integration, with this controllability, with combining these tools and focusing on the data and using the synergies between BIM and Lean every day in the project, he said there's like a saving potential from 30% based on the volume of the project, and the project volume is about 1 billion euros. So is maybe a lot of saving potential when we talk about the real impact on costs.
Any other examples from Dirk or Niels?
yeah, we got some examples as well. So one of them I have already shown. So this was our first project where we combined BIM and Lean, but we have 2 other projects, and also the infrastructure projects are really good example for this combination BIM and Lean, because you have the schedule is linear, and so it's really easy to adapt this to a model, and they are pretty convinced from this combination of BIM and Lean. And Dreso, also one of our aims to 2030 is that we will do all our projects lean and digital. So it's really necessary to combine BIM and Lean. We already did BIM and Lean in the 90s. That's true, but it doesn't work together. And now I think we got the technology to put it together and to put all the informations of both methods into a smart digital dashboard.
Yeah. So I would like to add as well, just to the use cases. So this was a little while ago. The project team didn't have any, I guess, fancy or, more sophisticated tools at the time other than their model. And I think it was Power BI and maybe some sort of way they connected it. But the team had applied, connecting the BIM data with like their schedule data, uh, specifically to track structural steel. So the use case on this project, a lot of delays with steel, with shipping, manufacturing just wasn't, I guess, on schedule. A variety of factors going on with delays with steel production. So they really needed to know, where do we actually have material and where can we put it in to keep the job moving. So it was really helpful for them to get the real time updates from the field being put into the model, updating status, which would update the dashboards in near real time so that the owner could see what was going on, so that the project team could obviously see what was going on and be able to resequence things around what was available. So that impact, the difference was, stopping the job and waiting for material to get there, because we didn't, otherwise you wouldn't really have the data or the transparency, like Niels was saying. But with the information connected from the platforms, you're able to see in near real time, okay, here's actually where we can adjust our work to keep the project schedule going. So that was one past example, kind of really focused there, but wanted to share that as well. Niels, looks like you have some thoughts there.
Yeah, I have another example. It's not integrated because it's a project where I am currently, and we have a different platform using there. We use LCMD, but for the BIM model, some different platform that can't be connected right now, cannot be.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in the design phase in the late stage, and there are a lot of changes. And we tried to understand, we basically, without real integration, but with visualization again, transparency, we put the BIM model on the left side and the LCMD on the right side, and we defined which process do we have to fulfill these design changes from the client that came in, and where do we see them in the model, and try to connect it with our brains, let's say like that.
Yeah.
And based on this, we were able to define a very clear priority. What do we have to do first? Because I think, especially in design phase, it's pretty hard to prioritize, or designers have a hard time prioritizing. That's my experience. And
Well, they have a
it's helpful a lot.
specific role that they focus on and do well. And yeah, builders have a specific role that they focus on and do well. Looks
And
like we
yeah,
may have
I think
just
Robin already
lost
lost.
Robin. We'll see if he pops back in, but continue on that thought, Niels.
Yeah, I just wanted to say we were able to, by looking at both things, like the process and the model, we're able to redefine the process very well, with a better understanding on what's important at what time, and fulfilling like 80% of these changes without impact on the schedule. So
Mm-hmm.
at first, everybody thought, oh, we lose like, I don't know, 3-4 months for this data center. But it's like 2 weeks now, and we can bring these back in construction. So that was
Yeah.
a really helpful situation. If we would have been integrated, we may have seen it earlier and didn't even lose these 2 weeks. But
Yeah.
that's hypothetically.
Yeah. No, all good. Really good to know, scenarios like that. So, Robin, we lost you for a second and then you got back in. So good to see you. Glad you're in here for the last 10 minutes or so. So reminder to the audience again, last call for like questions or any thoughts or comments, or, let us know what you found most valuable throughout the discussion, or what you might want to hear more of in the future. So as we're getting to the end of the hour here, we have a question that's come in. I definitely want to address that. So I'll give it one more second to load. It's a little bit longer. Let's see. So it's from Prajat. I hope I'm saying your name right. So according to CEO of Shadow Ventures, KP Ready BIM, he mentioned in one of the Procore Power of Construction podcasts, so in a podcast, that BIM is kind of dead. Not because 3D models are obsolete, but because data isn't being used the way it's promised. Yeah, that's some good insight. So no digital twins, minimal use in FM, and still tons of RFIs. What are your thoughts on that? Big question. Thanks for sharing that.
I go first. I'm the least
Yeah.
expert in BIM
Yeah,
here,
take it.
so
Yeah,
maybe I
let's
go
hear.
first. Yeah, I'm not a BIM expert. I focus on Lean more. But what I have experienced is that maybe what Dirk said in his second or third sentence, it's hard for people to change their process and understand what they're doing it for. And I think with implementing BIM, a lot of things went wrong back then because the solutions weren't that powerful like they are nowadays, because the people weren't as, I don't know, let's say, aware of the need of data when it comes to projects, especially for long term projects. How do you say it? Projects that take a long time. So let's say, for example, infrastructure projects like 5 to 10 years or something like that. If they lose their data while being in the project, it's a pretty expensive problem. And adapting the processes is quite necessary. And I think back then, like 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 years ago, people weren't really adapting the processes. They were just making their usual design processes and added some kind of 3D model on the side. And that doesn't help, in my opinion, as well. But that's from my point of view as not a BIM manager or something like that. That's more the outside view from the sideline, I would say like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my thoughts on your question. Very good question, by the way.
In addition to that, so I totally agree again to what Niels has said, but BIM is only a buzzword. So everybody is talking about BIM for around about 10 or 15 years. And anybody thought BIM would solve all your problems. So now maybe it's artificial intelligence, and before it was BIM. But I always say shit in, shit out. So if your planning wasn't good before, so BIM couldn't solve your problems afterwards. So, and BIM is not only the 3D coordination and the models. A lot of people think it's all about the coordination, collision, or clash detection, stuff like that. BIM is a method like Lean is, and you have to understand what kind of principles. So it's a tool in addition to understand and to have this transparency to react if you see something goes wrong in your project. So, and it's easier if you have your model and not only the geometry, also the information which is integrated into this BIM model. And then you can also, of course, adapt this into a dashboard, for example, to keep this transparency even higher. So, but it will not solve your problems. So you have to rethink all of your processes also with BIM. And this is the reason I said before, Dresden Sommer says we will do our projects lean and digital. Because for me, it's not important if it's called BIM or something else. It's about the digitization of the whole project management and the process which belongs to the whole project management. And this is really important. So if I go to my client and say, what should be the result at the end of the project? I think 90 or 95% of all the clients can't say what is the result or what should be the result at the end of the project. And this is the main problem. We have to talk about it right at the beginning, that we can do efficient processes and we can do an efficient lean management, and we can also structure our models well, that it all fits together and we have the highest amount as efficiency. So yeah, this is my opinion.
Yeah.
And also now focusing on the data, I think right now, as Neil said, we have really good platforms, for example, LCMD, and of course big as a CDE, to focus on the I in BIM, on the information. And of course we need coordination, we need 3D models and clash detection, all the stuff, but the real value is in the data, and we need to ensure the data consistency from over the whole life cycle. And we do have to reduce complexity, because in Germany, as you might know, we love standards and lots of requirement sets. We
Uh-huh.
need to reduce the complexity in the BIM standards, and of course in the requirement sets, because no one is reading the employee information requirements with 50 pages. We need to reduce it to 5 pages, and then people start reading the requirements, they read the data and talk about the things. And yeah.
Yeah.
And
Great point, Robin. Yeah, like, we need to we sometimes we overcomplicate things more than they
yeah.
need to be. And I'll add on to this question. Really great last thought provoking question here. So I would challenge the phrase BIM is kind of dead. Maybe BIM is just still in its infancy from my perspective, and we haven't given it enough time to like grow or bake in the oven or whatever metaphor, but to me it feels like it's just it's a newborn, right? Or it has been a newborn for a long time. We don't really know what to do with it. It can't really do much for us. But if we, nurture it and come up with better solutions and kind of improve the tools and techniques and our understanding, it can start to give value back. So I think it just may be one of those processes that takes a little bit of time to master. Our technology also needs to catch up, I think, to the process that we're trying to accomplish. So maybe it's just got a longer growth cycle to kind of get to where the industry will, find it a lot easier and more efficient to implement. But yeah, I don't think it's dead. Maybe it's not even grown yet. So it might need a little bit of a longer runway to ramp up.
Yeah, and we need to enable mass movement in
Yeah,
the organization and projects. It's not like a top down thing, it's a bottom up thing.
right.
So we need to enable the people, talking about BIM, AI, ESG,
Mhm.
and all the stuff, and bring it up to the organization, and not just waiting for more standards in the organization, for more requirements and must do's.
Absolutely. So we are at the last minute of our discussion. It kind of flew by. I just want to say thank you so much to each of you for coming here and sharing your content for our
Thank
audience.
you
This
for
was
having us.
really special that the team brought some case studies. They shared the screen. They showed you a peek of how the solution actually can work. So that was really cool. It's also a little bit later where you guys are in the day. So thank you for joining us across different time zones. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you as well to our audience for tuning in. We really appreciate you engaging with the content. So last minute here, and just very briefly, I'll go around. So just share where people can find you or reach out to you if they have any questions or want to follow up. So maybe first, let's go with Dirk. So where can people connect with you?
They can connect with me at LinkedIn, for example, or they can write me an email. So dirk.holzmann@dreso.com. Sorry. I think you can reach me if you want to. Feel
Excellent.
free.
Perfect. Yeah, LinkedIn is great. Robin.
Yeah, I will just join. Just send me a request on LinkedIn, send me a message, and I will happy to answer your questions and thoughts.
And then finally, Niels.
Yeah, as well, of course. Reach out on LinkedIn, for example, if you have any questions for LCMD, just reach out.
Excellent. And then this recording will stay live on the LinkedIn page. For anyone that may be tuning in later, you can also add any comments or questions on the comments section on the page, and we will see it and be able to respond to you. So thank you once again. And with that, we'll sign off for today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.